Once upon a time, in a bustling city full of towering buildings and endless noise, there lived a 30-year-old man named Alex. Alex was a man of great ambition. His mind was a gallery of dreams, each one bigger and brighter than the last. He dreamed of starting his own business, of traveling the world, of writing a book that would inspire millions. All day long, these grand visions would dance in his head. But these dreams, instead of energizing him, made him feel trapped and anxious. He always felt regret for the things he had unstarted yet, and a deep fear of a future where his dreams remained just dreams. Because of these ambitions, his life felt like a race he hadn't even begun. He couldn't feel content, couldn't enjoy the present moment, and often found it hard to fall asleep at night. One evening, while scrolling aimlessly through the internet, Alex stumbled upon an article about a reclusive master carpenter who lived in a quiet town by the sea. People said that this man wasn't just a builder of furniture, he was a builder of lives. He had once been a high-powered CEO in the corporate world, known for his relentless drive and success. But one day, he walked away from it all. He had found a deeper wisdom not in achieving, but in creating. Now he was old. He had traded his fancy suits for a simple apron and his board meetings for the quiet hum of his workshop. Occasionally, he would share his wisdom with those who sought him out. Alex felt a spark of curiosity and a glimmer of hope. He decided he must go and meet this old man. He thought, maybe this master carpenter can teach me how to build my own life. After a long train ride that took him away from the city's frantic pace, Alex arrived in a small seaside town. The air smelled of salt and sawdust. He found the carpenter's workshop, a humble wooden building with large windows overlooking the ocean. Through the glass, he saw an old man with silver hair, carefully sanding a piece of wood. His movements were slow, deliberate, and full of grace. Alex hesitated for a moment, then walked to the open door and said softly, "Sir, my mind is full of ambition. I have so many dreams, but I am paralyzed. I want to build a great life, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me?" The old man looked up, his eyes kind and his smile gentle. He said, "So you are a dreamer? Then come with me. I will show you something." The old man, whose name was Samuel, led Alex into the heart of his workshop. The room was filled with the rich scent of pine and cedar. Tools of every shape and size hung neatly on the walls, and stacks of lumber were piled in the corners. In the center of the room stood a half-finished table, its surface smooth and its legs strong. Samuel gestured toward a large, rough-looking log of oak sitting by the wall. "That," he said, "is a dream, just like yours. Inside that rough piece of wood is a beautiful chair, a sturdy table, a work of art. It has the potential to be anything. But right now, it is just potential. It is just a log." Alex looked at the log, then back at Samuel, confused. "What does this have to do with my ambitions?" he asked. Samuel smiled patiently. "Your mind is full of finished furniture, my boy. You see the polished tables and the grand bookcases. You dream of the final, magnificent product. But you are forgetting the most important part, the process. You are forgetting the sawdust, the splinters, and the sweat. You want the mansion, but you are unwilling to lay the first brick." He picked up a simple hand plane from his workbench. "Ambition without action is like this log. It is heavy, it takes up space, and it serves no purpose. It only reminds you of what it could be, and that is a heavy burden to carry." Alex felt a sting of recognition. Samuel's words were simple, yet they cut straight to the core of his problem. He had spent years designing the life he wanted in his mind, but he had never picked up a single tool to start building it. He was a brilliant architect, with no construction crew. His fear of not building the perfect dream had stopped him from building anything at all. He had been waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect burst of motivation, but it never came. He was waiting for the log to magically transform itself. "I see the log," Alex said quietly, his voice filled with a newfound understanding. "But the dream is so big, and the log is so rough. Where do I even begin? The first cut seems so ... permanent. What if I make a mistake?" Samuel placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Every master was once a beginner who made mistakes. Every beautiful piece of furniture in this room has a hidden flaw that only I can see. But those flaws do not take away from its beauty or its function. They are part of its story. You are afraid of the first cut because you see it as a potential failure. I see it as the beginning of a creation." He then walked Alex over to a smaller workbench where several small, intricately carved wooden birds were displayed. "I did not start by building a house," Samuel explained. "I started by carving a small bird. It was crooked. Its wings were uneven, but it was something. It was real. I had taken a piece of wood and turned it into something new. The joy was not in the perfection of the bird, but in the act of carving it. With each bird I carved, my hands grew steadier, my eyes grew sharper, and my confidence grew stronger." He handed a small, smooth bird to Alex. "Do not focus on building the entire forest. Just focus on carving one leaf. Your grand ambition to start a business. Don't think about the global headquarters. Think about the first phone call you need to make. Your dream of writing a book. Don't worry about the final chapter. Just write the first sentence. The first action, no matter how small, is what turns the heavy log of ambition into the lightweight shavings of progress." For the rest of the day, Alex stayed with Samuel in the workshop. He didn't just listen, he watched. He watched as Samuel measured a piece of wood, not once, but twice, before making a cut. He saw the intense focus in his eyes as he chiseled a delicate pattern. He felt the rhythm of the sanding, back and forth, turning a rough surface into one as smooth as glass. There were no grand speeches, no shortcuts, no magic formulas. There was only the quiet, steady, and honest work. It was a meditation in action. It was ambition made real through small, consistent steps. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the workshop floor, Samuel cleaned his tools and put them away. "Your problem, young man, is not that your ambitions are too big, but that your actions are too small. Or rather, they are non-existent. You are waiting for the feeling of motivation to strike you like lightning, but that is not how it works. Motivation is not the cause of action, it is the result of it. Take the first small step, and you will create a small piece of motivation. Take another, and you will create a little more. Action is the spark that lights the fire of ambition." Alex looked around the workshop, at the finished pieces of furniture bathed in the warm evening light. They were no longer just objects to him. They were stories of countless small actions, of patience, of dedication. They were proof that beautiful, grand things could be born from humble, simple beginnings. He looked at the rough log of oak, and for the first time, he didn't feel the weight of its potential. He felt the excitement of its possibility. He saw not a burden, but an invitation. With a heart full of gratitude, Alex thanked the old carpenter. He wasn't just leaving with advice. He was leaving with a new philosophy. He understood now that the path to his dreams was not a giant leap across a chasm, but a staircase he had to build himself, one step at a time. The journey was not about waiting for inspiration, but about creating it through deliberate action. When Alex returned to the city, everything looked the same, but he was different. The next morning, instead of just dreaming about the book he wanted to write, he opened his laptop. He didn't think about the whole story, the characters, or the ending. He just focused on Samuel's advice, just write the first sentence. And so he did. It wasn't the most perfect sentence ever written, but it was real. It was on the page. It was the first cut into the log. And as he wrote another, and then another, he felt a small, unfamiliar feeling begin to glow within him. It was not the overwhelming anxiety of his old ambitions. It was the quiet, steady warmth of progress. Alex had finally learned that a dream is just a dream, but an action, no matter how small, is the beginning of everything.